Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have kind of a unique topic that I don't think I've seen other tarot channels or my own channel ever explore before. It's kind of like a past life reading, but instead of honing in on one specific past life, we're going to talk about your overall soul's journey today. So what that's going to look like is in your reading, we're going to look at the general past themes of your lives and your soul. Then we're going to look at kind of your present journey, where you are in this life, and then kind of the surrounding lives that you've lived. And then we're also going to talk about, at least based on the trajectory that you're on now, the near future of your soul's journey. So specific past lives probably won't come up, just more so themes around lessons that your soul has already lived through and learned and is still learning right now, and then kind of near future with that. So instead of focusing in as a metaphor on one class your soul is taking, we're going to focus in on what the whole curriculum has been. That's kind of how I would explain it, right? So without further ado, let's pick our piles. For pile number 1, I have Inner Space and Universal Knowledge. For pile number 2, I have All Is Well. And for pile number 3, I have You Have the Power to Make Yourself Better. So after you finish meditating on these cards and seeing which one calls the most to you, as always, the timestamps for the readings are down in both the description box and the top pinned comment below. Click on that timestamp and I will see you in your reading about describing your soul's overall journey. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about describing your soul's journey. So as you recall, the card used to pick your pile was Inner Space and Universal Knowledge. And like most of my readings, I'm going to kind of cut this into different sections. First, we're going to talk about the past of your soul's journey. So pretty much major themes leading up to this point of this life of yours, at least, or I should say at least up to the current kind of general themes of the lives that you've lived slightly recently and then now. So without further ado, let's get to the past. I'm going to set your pile leader over here to the left like usual. And I also do have tarot cards I'm going to be drawing during the reading, so we'll set those down here for now. And then we'll first focus on your past. I'll set your other cards down here with me. Okay, Oracle cards. So the Archetypes card for the past of your soul's journey is lovely purple shade, Mystic. Light attribute, revels in intimate union with the divine. Shadow attribute, delusional rapport with the divine. Okay, so it seems like you've already had multiple lives, or at least kind of one theme in the past regarding mysticism, communicating with the divine, spirituality, that type of thing. Let's see what else the other cards say. We also have from the Sacred Destiny, Abundance. Abundance, okay. And your Lantern Oracle card here is, I'm going to flip that around, Sharing, number 33. There is giving in receiving and receiving in giving. Okay, so far, pile number 1's, the overall major past theme of your soul's journey that's been, or being brought up here, I guess I should say, is not only being in tune with the divine here, with the mystic, but also the relationship between spirituality with that communion with the divine and earthly materials here with abundance, which can mean things like money, security, safety, and your relation to society here with sharing. As it says, there is giving and receiving and receiving and giving. So let me pull your tarot cards though before I go too far in depth, of course. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself, but things kind of just pop out and I'm like, wait. Spirit, for pile number 1's, for the past theme here we're seeing with their soul's journey, can you give me about 3 to 4 tarot cards explaining more about that? What was going on with this overall theme of these lives we're talking about? Okay, let's see what pops out here. Definitely this one is calling out. We have the Five of Swords upright. Verbal combat, verbal fights, verbal back and forth here. We have this one here, the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Not getting out what you put in. We have a little bit more of that material wealth vibe here that we had with abundance with the Eight of Wheels reversed, because the wheels in this deck are the pentacles in most decks, which is earth, material things, right? And then we have this card, the Queen of Swords reversed. Okay. Internal connection with communication, the words we say, the way we think. Okay, but reversed, it's something off balance with that is how I would describe it. And then we'll stick with just those 3 tarot cards for now, but I may pull one more for, actually I'll just pull one more now for clarity. It's just, I don't want to cover cards, but with my limited space, sometimes I have to. So 3 of Pentacles, we have Pentacles again, reversed, so lack of teamwork. Okay, lack of teamwork. It's almost kind of like we were seeing here with your Lantern Oracle. I'll hold that up again for you pile ones. The way you related with other people, what you shared with other people, what they shared with you, what they gave or what you gave. And there's a lack in that area, okay? Excuse me. So I am going to cover a little bit of your cards here, apologies, but of course you can always rewind if you want to look at them closer. So pile number 1 is like I was saying with your oracle cards that popped out, this general past theme of your soul's journey that Spirit is talking about, like I said, is with your mystic card here, intimate union with the divine. So a mystic is someone that's almost like, you know, connected from earth to above or earth to the other side, right? Someone who is almost like can tune in like another word would be like a medium, right? That's why it's called, or why they're called a medium, is they're a medium between heaven and earth or after and earth, depending on your beliefs. You know, there's a different name for what's beyond the veil of this planet, right? And this life that we live here. So I don't know if specifically you had lived a lot of lives regarding like spirituality that could have taken form in, you know, say being a like a worker for a specific religion in the regions you lived in these lives in the past. It could have been you were more of an independent mystic, like maybe that wasn't your day job, but you had such a good connection with it that it did form a major part of your life here. In any case, it was just a major theme that popped up with these lives that you were working through and learning. And like I said, the main thing is that it was more specifically tied to the lessons you learned being spiritual like that, in combination with how does that relate to abundance or like material wealth, right? And how does that also relate to other people and what they give and share with you and vice versa, okay? So there could have been themes here of, especially with the Eight of Pentacles reversed, feelings of giving a lot to the world but not, and working very hard on it, because you know, the Eight of Pentacles is often about like putting hard work in here, almost like this blacksmith, you know, crafting these wheels, and he's going to have them, you know, he has them hanging above him like, you know, this is how far I've come, right? I put a lot of work and a lot of effort into this, but with it being reversed, it's like not getting as much back out as you put in, or like almost hard efforts gone to waste. Especially here too with the Five of Swords, there could have been a major theme in combination with that of other people verbally sparring with you, maybe having to defend your beliefs a lot here too with the Queen of Swords reversed. That's a lot about like communication or the way we think, right? Because it's air, right? Swords. But yeah, there's something to do with these themes of it could have been too like struggling between, you know, maybe in some lives with that had this overall theme in these lessons, you actually got paid for doing this mysticism work here, or the spiritual work being, you know, a medium between. In some other lives, you could have been, you know, basically like a pauper, like not really getting paid a lot for them, right? Not struggling with being spiritually wealthy, but not so much material wealth here, or materially wealthy, I should say. And then too, with the Three of Pentacles or Three of Wheels reversed, that's a lack of teamwork from society. So I think there also might have been a theme here too of society not working in tandem with you on these spiritual journeys with these lives in the past we're talking about. feeling almost kind of ostracized from society. That could still be a little bit of an imprint on your soul right now. Pile ones, of course, we'll kind of talk more about the present in a second here with the other cards we'll have pop out. But yeah, so that's kind of the theme so far that Spirit wants to bring up to your attention with one of the past themes of some of your past lives here. I'm not getting a sense specifically of when this lesson was. It could have been, or groups of lessons, I should say. It could have been more so like recent lives before the kind of theme that you're on now with your soul. And it's, if that's the case, of course, they could still almost feel kind of applicable to you. You could have had some struggles in your current life too with maybe the way that the groups around you, including like, your family, your friends, society at large, having, almost kind of butting heads with the way that you personally commune with spirituality, right? But there's a lot of connections there too, like I said, with the, where was my train of thought going? Sorry, I kind of lost it. But yeah, so basically, yeah, I mean, overall the themes of this past theme is, how do I commune with the divine in relation to, will it make me money? Do I even ask for money for it? Does it give me security? Does it give me insecurity if I'm persecuted for it? And then two, how do I relate to other people in society at large? That's kind of what I'm seeing here, pile number ones for the past theme. Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to your present. Let me take your tarot cards off the desk here, and then we'll shuffle the deck. And we'll clear off these oracle cards for you as well. Sorry for some pause between. All right. Oopsie, my hands are really tiny. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Sometimes I have a hard time with bigger decks shuffling them. Oof. Okay. We'll just kind of do a light shuffle here. Okay. Set those off to the side, and then let's talk about your soul's present, okay? So we have these cards here. Your Archetypes card for the present themes of your soul. So this will be more like very recent lives to like now, the one that you're living in your, like right at this moment, right? Your Archetypes card was Vampire. Light attribute makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So we're kind of almost seeing an evolution of that theme of the exchange of energy with other people here, pile number ones. Before it was like giving spiritual service to the world and how that affects what people give to you and what you give back, right? Now we're seeing it more, not so in a mystic way, at least so far. This is more about probably relationships, I'm getting an intuitive sense, but we'll see what else pops out. And then shadow attributes, depleting others for psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. So we'll set that down here, Vampire. Your sacred destiny is inner peace. Yep, so pile one so far, like I said, I think this theme is more about maybe becoming aware of other people draining your life force in your present, and then just very recent past lives is the theme. Especially because with inner peace here, it's like getting peace away from people that drain you. That seems to be a lesson that your soul is working on right now. And then your Lantern Oracle is key to intimacy, number 21. What did I tell you? Intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. So pile one's in the present and your most recent lives here, the kind of theme or the curriculum you're on right now is how I would put it for your soul, is probably in relation to romantic relationships and or just very, very close relationships in general. So you might have dealt with a lot of quote-unquote vampires, energy suckers basically, in recent lives and your current life, and a lot of the learning you're doing right now is struggling between letting other people drain your energy and learning ways to find inner peace and not let them steal your energy. So like I said, we kind of see that evolution of the exchange of energy here. Like that was a theme in the past with, like with the Mystic card we saw earlier about exchanging energy with the world, and how does that relate to like material security? How does that relate to society at large? Now it's becoming a more intimate type theme for your soul in your current life and most recent past lives, like I was saying, where it's more about relationships and a more intimate one-on-one way rather than at large with society. And then smaller, like it's about more, or how do I put it? You ever heard of, is it called Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So like at the very bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there is stuff like just like base survival. And now it's almost like your soul is going up more to spirituality and energy exchange in relation to things not related so much to base survival, things a little bit higher on the complexity scale of needs, right? So this is more like relationships is how I'm seeing this, pile number ones. Let's also draw your tarot cards for this section. Spirit, for pile number ones for the present, can you give me some cards explaining the themes here with these energy exchange with vampires and spirituality? It could be in this current life, pile number ones, you've dealt with a lot of romantic relationships with people that were emotional vampires. Could be family as well or friends. Two of Swords, making choices. Yep. Okay, so a lot of this could be specifically learning how to make the choice here in the present, in this life especially, making the choice between letting other people suck your energy and making the choice between choosing yourself, right? And reserving your energy and not letting people drain you is how I would put that. The Hermit, yep, a lot more not so public facing here with this theme, pile number ones. The Hermit is all about drawing inward for wisdom. It could almost be like, I almost wonder, some of you, this is kind of intuitive, it might not apply to everybody, but I almost wonder if some of you have had like long dry spells with romance because of this Hermit card here, or long dry spells with interaction with other people because of this struggle of, you know, who's a vampire and who's not, like how do I trust people? And then you also have the Ace of Wheels or the Ace of Pentacles here. That is all about like gaining something new in the material realm. Yeah, especially like, I don't know if it's like a trust related thing with the beginning of relationships because of things or past experiences with like emotional vampires, pile number ones. But yeah, it's like I was saying before, it's almost like your soul has shifted from energy exchange with your soul from like society and like lower needs on Maslow's hierarchy to more intimate one-on-one, like I was saying before, higher needs on Maslow's hierarchy here in terms of, you know, who do I give my energy to, you know, who do I kind of reserve it from. It might be you also have some lessons here, like I said, with the Two of Swords, because that's all about choices, right? That's like making choices and what deciding and figuring out what choices lead us to happiness and what choices lead us, unfortunately, to people that are emotional vampires. It could have been, I mean, it could have been that you've had a lot of emotional vampires in this current life that you're living, and maybe in the very, very recent previous ones. And it's like something here with money too, with the Ace of Pentacles, because like I said, that's like a new material thing popping up. I don't know if it's like you've had relationships where like they seemed like they were going to work out, and then they didn't, and then you've had to kind of retreat a little bit here with the Hermit energy and then almost start anew with the material world here with the Ace of Pentacles a lot, if that's a repeating theme here. Pile number ones, it's kind of just a sign of this curriculum that your soul is going through, the lessons you've chosen for this life, right? Or that have been at least, you know, assigned to you, I guess I would put it that way. Yeah. So this is a lot more about romance and your relationships with other people. It's become more personal, pile ones, with this energy exchange and finding inner peace, you know, especially here. I believe these are koi fish. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, like finding a partner who isn't an energy vampire, if that's something you desire, pile number ones, and understanding what love is not here with key to intimacy. So a lot about romance I'm seeing here, or at least, if not romance, you could have had a lot of emotional vampires in like your family, or you could have had like a lot of friends that were emotional vampires, that were a part of this life to teach you this lesson about how to make the best choices, about preserving your own energy and protecting yourself, right? You know, that type of thing, right? And almost I can kind of see like hitting the ground running after having unfortunately come across like an energy vampire here with the Ace of Pentacles, especially in terms of the material world. So that could also mean that you met some of them at work too, because Pentacles can mean like your career or your work space, right? that type of thing, pile number 1. So that's how I'm seeing it kind of manifesting in your current life and our very recent lives here. Yeah. Okay, so then let's go to your future pile number 1s in terms of sort of maybe what little transition out of this life, and then in sort of near future lives, depending on the trajectory of how this one is going right now, right? Because that can always kind of change to my understanding. It's not always set in stone, the future, but tarot is always really good. I always tell people it's about predicting the most likely future based on the trajectory you're on now, but things can always change. So future's not always set in stone, but let me shuffle your cards here, pile number 1s. Pardon for a little bit of a pause. Yeah, so you're a lot, if I had to give you a summary, pile number 1s, you're almost like the pile of like energy exchange. And it started with, like we said, society and like general like organized religion or spirituality, and then it currently is almost in like personal relationships instead. Like it's kind of honed in now to something more focused. It was like your earlier lives were kind of like the overview, and then these current lives or most recent lives, including this one, have been more about like honing in on a focus of like, okay, energy exchange in relationships, personal relationships, instead of just, at society at large, right? Put your tarot cards up here. Let's look at your oracle cards first. So near future for your soul's journey, pile number 1s. For archetypes, you received another purple card, mediator. All right, look at that. I'm okay. I have an intuitive thing, but I'll hold it back. Anyways, light attributes. Gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attribute, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Pile number 1s, the reason why you've been going through these lessons here is because in the near future of this life and then lives kind of in the future, there's a trajectory here of you. Okay, so right now you've learned or have been learning about personal relationships, right? First society at large, then personal relationships and energy exchange between, right? The reason why is because eventually with this mediator card, you're going to be the type of person that knows how to balance the energy exchange for other people. So instead of being a student yourself, you're kind of transitioning into being a teacher for others. That could technically manifest itself in injustice. Like, you see like a mediator in like divorce court is commonly where that term comes up. But yeah, that type of thing. You're going to be shifting more, or at least right now the trajectory is shifting more into like a teacher role with energy exchange between people. Like, how do they exchange their money in terms of like if it is divorce court? How do they exchange their love? How do they exchange that type of thing, right? It could also be like becoming a therapist in this life or in future lives here. Before I ramble too much, to get to your other cards, but that was just popping on at me there. Miracles, okay. Seeing the light at the end of the storm, rainbow, okay. We'll get to that in a second. And then your lantern oracle is voice. You are here to be known, so speak and be seen. Yep, so a lot of the future trajectory here, pile 1s, with these lessons that you've been learning so far in your soul's journey are like, like I was saying, it's like a teacher, like speaking out more about, obviously, like as you live your lives, you kind of forget each time kind of what you're here for, it depends. Some people do remember, but like it's almost like speaking out like intuitively like what your soul knows with this life and then future lives here, this trajectory of like with that mediator role of, like I said, speaking to people about it, being public about, shifting from like first you were with public energy, right? And then now it's like that private energy of personal relationships, and then it's going to be shifting back out into that public energy, but in like a public role way of teaching others, like I was saying here. And then your tarot cards, sorry. I always kind of get ahead of myself. Pile 1s from Spirit. Could you give me some tarot cards explaining the near future trajectory? Yeah, you're gonna be speaking on it. The Chariot reversed, okay. Taming the chaos of life. 9 of Wands reversed. Oh, okay. Holding out. Getting tired but holding out. And then the Fool, okay. Okay, so the Fool, I would say, is also an indicator too that you're almost kind of at the end here after this teaching phase, this mediator phase. You're almost at the end of this set of lessons, pile number ones. And the reason I say that is because when the Fool pops up, oftentimes it's the beginning as the zero. It's both, well, not just the beginning. As the zero card, it's both the beginning and the end of a story or a hero's journey, as typically is how it's kind of depicted or described in tarot. So I think you're just almost after this teaching phase that you're coming up across here. You're going to be starting kind of a new set of lessons. So it's going to be maybe a shift from, instead of energy exchange, maybe you'll have, you know, a whole slew of lives that's about a different theme that we haven't discussed yet, right? But so far with this kind of teaching phase here, speaking publicly, helping other people, yeah, the Chariot reversed is all about needing more direction, needing to tame the chaos, a little bit more about willpower here. And then the Nine of Wands reverse, like I was saying as I pulled it out, it's more about being very tired, but needing more determination to see things through to the end. So that's kind of that, like you're almost at the end energy here leading into the Fool, so the beginning of a new journey I'm seeing here. There could be some struggles in the near future here with wanting to keep up with this theme. I think probably because so far your soul has been living a lot of lives around this theme. There could be, in this life and the near future lives, a little bit of a feeling of tired out, of like, why do I have to keep dealing with these energy vampires? Like, I mean, at least there's a trajectory of not so much it being energy vampires in your own life, but a little bit more of an arc into mediating energy exchange in other people's lives here with mediator, right? But there is a little bit of a lesson here in keeping going, because when you do work with a lot of people that are like energy vampires, for example, that is very, 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 very tiring. I mean, that's a perfect explanation of like the Nine of Wands is, you know, you can kind of see here he's tired out. The battle has been fought for a long time, but he's still standing, right? So it could be, what's the word? In the near future lives, a little bit about tiring out with this, so that could manifest physically in, say, let's say you are literally a mediator in this life or in your next life or next few lives, right? It could be that maybe you struggle keeping and maintaining up energy for that sort of career because you're just tired working with energy exchange type themes. But there's a lesson in and of itself that way to keep holding on and, you know, really, what's the word? Symbolize in your own life that Nine of Wands energy of determination, I guess is a really good word to kind of summarize it. And taking the reins and, you know, keeping yourself on that path of, okay, this is my soul's lesson here. I need to learn. This is the class I'm learning, so to speak, metaphorically. I need to keep going with this. I'm almost at the end here of this theme, this curriculum with the Fool. I just need to keep going. So there could be a little bit of wobbling in career in this life and then the next near future lives away from this. But I'm seeing here, because you're just at the cusp of a new theme, that's kind of the key to moving on into the next phase of your soul's journey, I guess is how I would put it. Miracles too. And that's an interesting card. Let me peek at that for a second. It's kind of almost like the miracle of seeing, you know, at least like with Abrahamic religions, the rainbow was what Noah saw after the flood, right? The sign that everything was okay, right? On top of the dove, right? And the rainbow always comes after the rain. So symbolically, let's see. That's what it is. Okay. It's kind of like I was saying before with the Fool here. It's like you're almost at the end of the storm here, pile number ones, with the trajectory of this life and then like the near future lives. Depending on how you learn this lesson in this life and then how it goes in the next lives, right? You're almost there with the miracles. And I think you're on a good path right now. I think you're doing really well, especially with the miracles card popping out here. And I think that you are on the trajectory, at least to, even in near future lives that haven't occurred yet, to do well with this. It's just kind of keeping in mind, you know, keeping to the path and not straying, and maintaining your own energy as you do the hard but necessary work of mediating energy exchange between people and maintaining that also in your own life and then near future lives, pile number ones. Yeah. All right, well, I hope that reading was helpful for you, my lovely pile number ones. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about describing your soul's journey. So, as I described in the intro, this will talk about the past, present, and future of where your soul has been, and we'll kind of do it in 3 different sections, focusing on those different kind of time frames. So, without further ado, let's get to the reading. Of course, as you remember, the card used to pick your pile was All Is Well. Lovely green shade. We'll set that one down here to the left, as always, with our pile leaders. And first up, let's focus on the past energy of your soul's journey. So it'll be these 3 top cards, and I'll set the rest of them down here with me for the time being. And then I'll also pull some tarot cards in a second here, but just to make room, we'll set those down here. So first Archetypes card for your soul's journey for the past. Okay. We have Scribe, Light Attribute, Preserving Knowledge and Information. Shadow Attribute, altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. Okay. And then we have Sacred Destiny. We have relaxation as the theme. Okay. Reading a book. Okay, interesting with your Scribe card here. And then your Lantern Oracle is responding, not reacting. Number 9, the only control we have is in how we respond to the hand we are dealt. Okay, and then I will pull the tarot cards here. Spirit for pile number 2s, could you give me about 3 to 4 cards explaining the past of their soul's journey? What has the theme been? Themes, could be multiple themes, I suppose. Okay, let's see what's popping out. Definitely that one. The Sun, clarity, okay. Making things clear, okay. Also could be happiness. Knight of Wands. External action. When it comes to passions and that type of thing, creativity, and then justice reverse, so injustice being reversed. Okay, so pile number 2s. Let me get my ducks in a row. All right. So pile 2s, I'm getting the sense here that in the past of your soul's journey, now this could have been many, many, many lives. This could have been just a few, like a small set of lives more recently in the past. Number 1, I'm going to tell you, you did very well. I get the feeling that a lot of happy cards, you know, not only your pile leader is All Is Well, you also got the Sun, which is a very positive card, and then you also got relaxation here with Sacred Destiny. You did really well. I think, you know, there was a lot of success with it. Generally, the theme I'm seeing here, the thing that you had success with, is something to do with knowledge and information, collecting knowledge. You know, not only did you get Scribe here, but you also, in your relaxation card, someone is in a hammock reading a book, right? Something about knowledge, something about gathering knowledge. It could have been a lot of these lives were surrounding, like, scientific pursuits or careers. It could have been writing here, especially with Scribe. Could have been, you know, dealing with writing or knowledge in more of a public-facing way. That's kind of what I'm seeing here with the Sun as well, and the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands is about going forward with passions or going forward with creativity, because the Wands is the fire suit, right? So I think this is a very, like, set of lives where the theme was being public with some sort of thing that you were writing or saying, and the focus here was making things more clear in terms of what injustices were afoot in society at the time. Especially too with responding, not reacting. Like it says, the only control we have is in how we respond to the hand we are dealt. So it's almost like you were about very calmly gathering information and responding to society in some way. So like I said, that kind of, there's a little bit of a theme here of maybe correcting injustice with the things that you were writing or the things that you were discovering here too, especially if there was like scientific pursuit. Like I see medicine specifically as a very like justice-oriented scientific pursuit, especially when it came to very important things to bypassing a lot of the natural dangers that humans had before we had modern medicine, right? For example, like antibiotics, fantastic development in medicine that brought a lot more happiness and healthiness to people's lives, right? Things like that. It could have also been to specifically in that scientific pursuit pile twos where you brought more justice to those scientific systems or the things that you were writing about or the things that you were studying or gathering knowledge on, and being a very valorant type, almost champion of these causes of bringing more clarity, of bringing more justice in terms of, because like there can be a lot of, what's the word, even in today's society, or especially in today's society, I guess I would say, there can be a lot of the dark side of things when it comes to how information is given and how information is kind of withheld, depending on, you know, what we're talking about. It could be, you know, things with media, you know, it could be things with science, could be things with that type of thing. There's can be a lot of disinformation. There can be a lot of, you know, that area of darkness, I guess I would say, with the way that information is shared. But you, in these past lives, pile number twos, were the sun, bringing clarity, bringing light to things, championing these things. So I see almost a very like public serving, or serving the public in terms of the knowledge you brought to people. And like I said, specifically for at least some of you, I think it was something to do with science. And responding to the injustices at large. It could have been, if it wasn't necessarily science, it could have also been something to do with nature. It could have also been something to do with, like, what's another theme I'm seeing here? Especially like with medicine too, I'm seeing with not only like your pile leader all as well, but just a lot of the green popping out to me is what I'm seeing, like health, things like that. So that can really, like, what time period these lives or this set of theme, like the themes that you learned took place in, can kind of differ, but I'm getting a more recent vibe from this pile number twos. I want to say like, generally these were the themes that you were learning in your lives from maybe like the late 1700s to even close up to modern day, that type of thing. So it could be that there's still, I told pile one this too, there could be still sort of an effect on your current life with, you know, your career, maybe something related to this. It could also be part of something that you're passionate about, but it might not be like the main thing that you do, but it's still kind of like a leftover piece of who you are because of these themes that you learned or lessons that you learned with your soul in this past energy of these past lives I'm talking about here. I think you were very comfortable though. There wasn't a lot about physical insecurity, like especially with relaxation and the sun and all's well. I think you were very well taken care of, I guess is how I would put it, with these lives that dealt with this theme. It was more like an elevated kind of high academic sense. I'm feeling like, you know, maybe coming from money, and so you were able to go to like university in these lives, and so that's how you kind of got into that high academic field or had the connections possible to really get attention and bring attention to other things too, like these injustices we were talking about here with, you know, either medicine or science, or bringing clarity to the world at large. Yeah, I see a lot of bringing light, you know, not only like the sun, you know, kind of it says on the tin, duh, but here justice, there's also, if you flip it upside down, so swords in tarot represent air, and air is all about communication, and there's a peak of light at the top of the sword. It's like bringing light through communication. I'm seeing here with justice, reversing injustice and making the world a more fair place in these areas. Yeah, like just clearing out corruption. So it could be that corruption really bothers you in your current life right now. It's something that you're kind of just like, you see it and it just boils your veins. You're like, ugh. And part of that is because you did live this, through this curriculum of these lives that dealt with bringing clarity to corruption and things like that. Bringing information where there was disinformation and cleaning out the old and making way for more knowledge for the future, right? That type of thing. So let's get to your present life, or your present energy, pile number twos. My light bringers is what I would call you. We'll clear the deck here, or clear the desk, I should say. I always say deck because we're working with decks, but I'm like, no, wait. Desk. And let's shuffle. Yeah, your light bringers, pile number two so far. So we'll see if your current life still kind of deals with this, or it could be that you kind of moved on to a little bit of a different or related theme. But let's talk about your present. So your archetype for the present energy is dilettante, I believe is how you pronounce it. Light attributes, delights in the arts without having to be professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Shadow attribute, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Okay. That kind of gives me, well, we'll talk about it in a second when I get your other cards on the table. Your sacred destiny is truth. Look at that. So I think you still are kind of on this similar trajectory right now. Pile number 2 is with your life currently, or in the very, very most recent lives, kind of the current class you're on is how I would put it. You are light bringer, truth seekers. A little bit of a creative energy here. This is almost like that Knight of Wands we were talking about earlier with the creative energy. And perspective, number 39. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. Yeah, you're still on this same pile. Number 2 is, I think you're at a little bit more advanced stage because you have lived, I'm seeing, you know, probably multiple lives at this point dealing with this, but you're becoming almost like a master of truth. You're becoming a master of bringing light, right? Let's get your tarot cards on the table too. Spirit, could you explain more about the present energy of the soul's journey of pile number 2s? 3 to 4 cards, please. Okay. The devil. Okay, the things that bind us, the things that chain us. Okay. 5 of Cups reversed, moving on from grief. Okay, and then we also have the Lovers reversed. Could mean issues with relationships. The Lovers can also traditionally mean having an issue making a choice, reversed at least. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Pile 2s. Yeah, truth. Similar thing we were talking about. I think you're still kind of on this trajectory, but I think you're at a more masterful level, of course, at this point, especially here, like I said, with your truth card, but then we also have your perspective card over here. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. You bring perspective. You bring light. I mean, there's even a lighthouse here in this. What does a lighthouse do but guide the way for people to navigate things, right? That's kind of their whole point. You're a lighthouse. You're a light bringer. I do see it's a little bit more distant here. So I think it's shifted just a little bit in terms of the theme of your present life or this present energy. Let's see what else pops up here too. With the 5 of Cups moving from grief, choices, romantic relationships, and the things that bind us. And then dilettante is interesting. Delighting in the arts without having to be professional alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. All right, 1 second here. It should pop out at me in just a moment. So I think in your present energy, pile 2s, this has shifted. Like I said, you're still kind of on that truth, light bringing theme, but it's more about the way truth versus lies bind us and affect us emotionally and in our relationships. You're almost kind of like pile number 1s that way, where it shifted from more of a public energy in their past to present energy of more personal relationship type things. That's a very similar theme I'm seeing amongst the piles today. I don't think you necessarily are a light bringer in terms of your career now, and I say that because of dilettante here. Delights in the arts without having to be a professional, and alerts to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. So I see almost a theme here of, like I said, it's not as public of light bringing. It's more personal light bringing, probably both to yourself and, like I said, how it relates to like emotions and the things that bind people. And also just like people around you too. Like I see you almost as like an advisor type, bringing truth to the people in your life. On a more personal level, bringing perspective to people on a more personal level in your current life. Being almost kind of a shelter from the storm of confusion for other people. Like I said, advisor vibes all around. I could also see that, especially here with the 5 of Cups reversed next to the devil, you help people, or at least part of this trajectory is helping people with addictions. I say that because the devil is, like I said, the things that chain us, and then the 5 of Cups can, well, reverse can mean moving past grief, and then cups in tarot can also be kind of an indicator of things like addictions, like drinking is one thing, it being cups, right? But also negative relationships here with the Lovers and or making bad choices. So you're, like I said, you're a lot like pile number 1s, where this past energy has shifted from more public kind of to the world at large. And now in this present energy, it's about more personal relationships for you, pile number 2s. Yeah, so I don't think you necessarily do it as a career, and or if you do, you still do it, or the lesson here is more about how you affect and advise people in your life more at home and more with personal relationships, bringing truth to them, that type of thing. There's also kind of a running theme here too. I think it might also be like a sub lesson that you're learning, where we saw before with the Knight of Wands in the past energy. That's about making action or charging forth with fire, which is creative energy in tarot, right? And we also see dilettante here with delighting the arts without having to be a professional. You could be a very creative person. It could have been that you were more open about it in past lives, in that past energy, but then in the present energy of your most recent lives and the life you're currently living, it's more maybe a hobby for you, but you are still very interested, I think, in these creative pursuits, in this gathering of knowledge, things like that. I also see, because there's such a theme here with truth for you, pile number 2s, it could really bother you in your current life when people are know-it-alls. I mean, of course, it kind of bothers everybody when people are know-it-alls. But I think because on a soul level, it kind of resonates with you in terms of, like, you've lived so many lives bringing truth to people, and so it really bothers you when people are know-it-alls, because it's like, they don't always necessarily, like, just because they're know-it-all doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually telling the truth, or that they have it right, like they don't know everything, right? So that's maybe something that kind of especially irks you as a person, pile number 2 is in your current life. But yeah, with that creative theme, like getting back to that, very creative energy I'm seeing here with that Knight of Wands and the dilettante here. But not necessarily in terms of your career, like that might not be the thing that you do to make your money, right? Whereas before, it seemed like with the scribe card, it might have been more of a public job that you had in the not immediately recent past, but farther past with your lives, right? Your soul's journey. So, all right. And then let's get to the near future for you, pile number 2s. As always, like I said in the intro, this can kind of change depending on how the trajectory of your life goes. But this is reading off of present energy, how you're doing so far, and what's kind of expected, at least at the time of this reading, right? All right, one moment. Sorry, I'm kind of shuffling around. I got to shuffle the tarot cards too. Let's do that. So yeah, my light bringers. My smarty pants pile. All right, and then we'll just kind of do an easy shuffle here again. Riffle on an easy shuffle, okay. And then your oracle cards here, your archetypes for near future is bully. So light attributes is highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse, okay. And then we have Sacred Destiny, Purification. All right. And Lantern Oracle is Broken Dreams, number 23. Only you can accept or reject your dreams. Interesting. Okay. And then for pile number 2s, could I get some tarot cards, Spirit, for their near future with their life, current life, or near future lives? Okay. Oh, that popped out. 3 to 4 cards. We already have 2 that popped out, so let's see what those are first. We have the Page of Pentacles, okay, exploring the material. So near future energy could be maybe moving back more into a professional capacity. With the Page of Pentacles or Wheels, we have the Knight of Cups reversed, okay. Maybe some lessons surrounding exploring emotions. Okay, and then I'm going to pull out this card here. We have the King of Cups. Look at all these cups here. Water, water everywhere. Reversed. Dealing with emotional instability. Okay, so I'm seeing here pile number 2 is the near future is more... It's not so much about the people around you, like we were talking with your present energy. The near future is more about emotional regulation of self here. So it could be that you haven't necessarily gotten to this lesson yet in your current life. This could be just completely future lives here, but generally what I'm seeing here is, especially with all these cups that popped out, and then the Broken Dreams card too, also Bully here. It's more about it's like you're almost moving into a new curriculum, is how I would say it metaphorically. You're moving away from the truth bringing and the truth seeking. I mean, I still do see it a little bit here with the sunflower, because it almost is reminiscent of, like, the sun card that we saw earlier, right, which is clarity, right? And then purification is almost kind of like, not quite a synonym for clarity, but that type of thing, purifying things, breaking them down, right? But it's almost like you're moving more into a more introspective set of lessons here, specifically in terms of finding your way through career with the Page of Pentacles here, finding your way with material things. It could be a little bit like we were saying with your dilettante we saw earlier with present energy, shifting more into, okay, how do I combine my career with the things that I'm passionate about creatively? Especially like if things in the near future, I mean, I don't know where things like, for example, AI might be by the time you or I have our next lives. But it could be some kind of struggle with that, like, being creative in a world where we have AI that can just create art. Things like that. We'll see where society goes, of course, but and how do you make money in a society like that where someone can just go to an AI and, if you're an artist, I mean, some of you might be struggling with that right now where, how do you make money in a world where someone can go to an AI and have a piece of art made for like near free, if not free, but you are a human artist that, wants to make money based on, your art, that type of thing. Struggles like that I'm seeing. And then I also see here too with the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups reversed, a lot about how do we explore our emotions. Emotional instability. It could be some lives dealing with, I'm seeing, could like depression as a theme here, especially because you did get the King and the Knight of Cups reversed with broken dreams. I don't want to say like, to scare you or be like super negative or anything, but something to do especially with the way that it, like, your passions externally manifest in your life here in the near future, pile number twos. With broken dreams too, it's like it could be that you have this trajectory of being creative and wanting to make a career out of it, but struggling to make that a career with broken dreams, and then learning the lesson of carrying on and trying again. That could be it too. It could also be, let's see what other themes are popping out here. Your bully card is interesting. Your tendency to intimidate others or helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Could also be too with that, like, because I don't necessarily see this as like an external bully thing. It could be with that emotional regulation theme we were talking about, not bullying yourself. A lot of, self-esteem issues do crop up from bullying oneself. They do crop up from, kind of like people with anxiety, including myself. I've suffered from this myself, like having that inner dialogue of like, oh, you can't do it. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, blah, 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 just negative thinking in general. So combining not only the things that you're passionate about with your career and learning lessons from struggles in that area, as well as emotional regulation in terms of self-esteem and I guess I should say overcoming inner fears, that type of thing, pile number three. So I think unlike pile number twos, you're shifting into almost like a completely new energy in the near future with your lives, like the trajectory of your soul's journey. It's less about truth seeking. It's less about bringing clarity to people and advising them into almost learning how to internally regulate and advise yourself in terms of emotions and career. That's what I'm seeing for you, pile number twos. Let's see. I'm also going to pull one more tarot card for you. Let's see. I just want to see if there's any other details. We have, the devil popped up again. Okay. So it could be one small running theme from the present energy into the near future here with the devil. So that, like I said, with your present section of the reading, the devil is all about the things that chain us, addictions, stuff like that. So that could be another kind of manifestation of the holding yourself back and having to pick up from broken dreams and carry on and keep dreams alive. The devil isn't always, external addictions, right? Like, say, drugs or alcohol. The devil can be the things that chain us in terms of our self-esteem and confronting inner fears that are holding us back. So that's the major theme I'm seeing here, pile number two is self-confidence and self-esteem, and emotional regulation, like I said before, and then, you know, exploring your career and balancing all those things together. It's more of a self-focused rather than an externally focused set of lessons like you have been on so far. So I think you're almost kind of done here with this life you're on right now. You're almost at the end of the cycle of the truth singing, light bringing, or not truth singing, sorry. Well, I guess that works, but truth seeking is what I meant to say. Truth seeking, light bringing lessons. You're almost at the end of that with this life, and then now you're going to move more into this energy with the next set of lessons or next set of lives that deal with this newer theme. Yeah. You know, even tying in with your pile leader all as well. So it's that less externally focused, or externally focused all is well with the world, or helping it become all is well, right? And more internally focused on making sure all is well, right? Okay, well, pile number 2 is I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about describing your soul's journey. So as I kind of described in the intro, this will be split into 3 sections. We'll talk about the past of your soul's journey, the present of your soul's journey, and also the near future based on the trajectory or the path you're on right now. So without further ado, let's get to the reading. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was You Have the Power to Make Yourself Better. So we have a heart-shaped tree with light in it. We'll set that down here to the left as we go through each section. Your pile leader is always consistent. Okay, and then, oops, there's a card down there. So let's first talk about the past of your soul's journey. I'll just set your other cards down here with me for the moment. And then we'll also draw some tarot cards here in a second, but let's focus on your oracle cards. So pile 3s, the past energy of your soul's journey. Your archetypes is visionary. You know, I've gotten this card so many times in recent readings. So if you've been getting this, or if you've been picking the piles in my readings that have this card pop up, a little bit of a synchronicity there. I swear to God, I shuffle between readings, but it just keeps popping up. All right, visionary, light attributes, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain, shadow attributes, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Okay, a little bit of future focus. Then we have adventures from your Sacred Destiny Oracle. Adventures, venturing out, forward focused, visionary, trendsetters. Okay, and then we have circles, number 34. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Okay, interesting. And then let's get your tarot on the desk here. Spirit for pile number 3s, can you give me 3 to 4 cards explaining the past energy of their soul's journey? What's this theme about being future focused here? Okay. 10 of Wands, burdens, interesting. Okay. The burden of future sight. 3 of Wands reversed. Okay, that's kind of tying into the Adventures card here. 3 of Wands is often about moving forward with plans. Reversed, it's about having hesitancy to move forward. And then you also have the Queen of Swords. Internal strength of intelligence, communication. The things we say, the things we think. Truth, right? Okay, pile number 3s. So the past energy of your soul's journey, I would generally say tends to be, for each pile today, it's been not the most recent lives you've lived, but like kind of the themes of the lives you've lived before the current theme. So sometimes that can mean kind of the same thing, but a little bit different. Sometimes it can be a completely different theme than what you're working on right now. So just to kind of explain. But what I'm seeing for this past energy for you pile number 3s is a lot about future focus, a lot about future sight, especially with visionary here, and then also with adventures, right? Adventures are all about venturing beyond the known into the unknown. In combination with your 3 of Wands reversed especially is the struggle of, you know, the way I kind of hear it is almost dialogue. It's like, I have this great new idea, I have this great dream, I have this great, you know, insert new thing here, but I'm not sure if I want to go forward with it, and breaking out of patterns of holding yourself back and being willing to step forward into the future of your own life, into the future even in terms of it could have manifested in new ideas you had for society or new ideas you had for your community, especially with visionary popping up here. Breaking out of old energy here with circles, right? Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Breaking out of old patterns, breaking out of old circles, and venturing into new territory, into the unknown, and having the courage and the bravery to do so. That's what I'm seeing here as the theme, especially here in terms of new energy with the way that you think or the way that you speak or the way that you kind of logically process things here, especially with the Queen of Swords popping out. Could also manifested here in past lives with literal journeys, being hesitant and then fighting past that hesitancy to actually venture out, right? Also in terms here with the Ten of Wands is all about the burdens we carry, right? It's a blindfolded figure. He's holding all these wands. He's about ready to tip over. So it could have been a lot of lives in this general theme here that dealt with being tied down, not just because of hesitancy, but also because you had a lot of burden to carry. It could have been your family, like you had to hold a lot of burden and you didn't want to leave them behind for your own dreams. It could have been just something in general that was tying you down, that was burdening you down. It could also have been self-confidence too, right? Burdening you, not letting you shift that Three of Wands energy reversed into upright energy of actually going out with the plans that you've made, and going forth with clarity and shifting into new energy or bringing that new thing to society or going on that adventure or venturing out into the unknown, that kind of thing. So oftentimes, you know, because this is past energy, I'm seeing here that you already, by the end of this cycle of lives, had transitioned from the staying home, hesitant, kind of scared to do the new thing, you know, holding burdens energy into, hey, I'm going to adventure out. I'm actually going to do this new thing or bring this new thing to society. I'm going to break this cycle, right? And I'm going to go forth and be this adventurous person. So it could be, because like I said, this is past energy pile number 3's. You are an adventurous person now because of this slew of themes and lessons that your soul has already learned. So it could be you're a little bit of a trendsetter in your modern life. It could be you're someone who is very adventurous. You like to travel. It could be, you know, even maybe your soul has almost gone the opposite way now, where you had been that adventurous person, and so now you're working through themes of maybe staying at home. Of course, we'll see if that does pop out with your present energy part of this reading. But as for the past, though, I am seeing changing from being meek and afraid to venture out or afraid to release burdens to, I'm going to release this burden. I'm going to venture out. I'm going to shift from old tied down energy to new free energy, right? You know, especially with your pile leader here, you know, you have the power to make yourself better. It's a very kind of inward focused theme here of confidence and, you know, succeeding and really going forward with future plans and freeing yourself in that way. I'm surprised the Devil Reversed didn't pop up here because of that energy, but that's kind of, if you're familiar with tarot, that's the kind of feeling I get is the Devil Reversed. And I say that because the Devil Reversed is often about breaking the things that tie us down and breaking chains, right? Yeah, that type of thing. And, you know, here too with circles, that's interesting because it says clarity begins in the eye of the storm. You know, the eye of the storm is, you know, like, I think this is often with either, it might just be hurricanes because I think tornadoes might be too small. But like, for example, when you're in the eye of a hurricane, everything just kind of calms down all of a sudden, right? You're in the eye of the storm, you're in the calm of the storm, right? And it's like this theme too of not only learning to venture out and be more adventurous, but almost like you, intuitively I'm getting, it's like you, how do I best describe it? Sorry, I'm being kind of stuttery and hesitant here. Excuse the pun, because we just talked about hesitancy in your past lives, right? It's almost like these lives were very like tumultuous and very chaotic. And the turning point of this lesson you learned, pile 3's, was when you had a life described here that was so chaotic that finally it just clicked for you in the eye of that storm. And it's like all of a sudden you shifted from this very unwilling to venture out person to someone who just completely like changed overnight. That's kind of the intuitive thing I'm getting here. I don't know what specific past life this was for you, pile number 3's. If you do maybe look into some past life readings. I do have one here on my channel, but of course there's plenty of other tarot readers out there that do past life readings. If you're not necessarily interested in mine, maybe that'll kind of explore it depending on which one you watch, right? But it's like you just all of a sudden had this flip and you were just like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. So maybe your soul kind of struggled with this for quite a while and it wasn't quite clicking. It maybe wasn't the smoothest lesson to learn, and then all of a sudden, you know, bam, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. And it took a very chaotic life, I think, to finally get to that point of, okay, screw the burdens, screw being tied down, screw staying back and being shy and meek. I'm just going to go venture forward and I'm going to be adventurous, right? I'm going to go forward with these new ideas. I'm going to be a trendsetter, that type of thing, right? Okay. So let's get to your present energy pile number 3s. We'll clear the desk here. And then I will shuffle the tarot cards as well. My adventurer pile. My explorers. Okay. Okay. Present energy. Let's see what your soul is doing now, pile number 3s. We'll see if it's kind of similar or it's something new. So get your cards ready and my ducks in a row. Your archetypes for the present is artist. Light attributes, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Shadow attributes, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Okay, we'll see where that goes with your other cards. Your Lantern Oracle here is Metamorphosis, number 11. Sorry, I was just making sure if there weren't any repeated numbers or not, but Metamorphosis, power and strength lie within our surrender to change. Our surrender to change. Okay, a lot of red popping out here. Let's see. And we have power. Okay. So power is becoming a bit of a theme for you, pile number 3s. I'm going to actually shift these around, make some more room. And let's get your tarot cards on the desk as well. Spirit for pile 3 is what are the lessons of their present lives. Current life and most recent, if you could tell me. 3 to 4 cards. That one's popping. Let's see. We have 10 of Swords. Betrayal. Betrayal. Okay. We have Ace of Swords reversed. Okay. A little bit of confusion in some way, I think, is how that would manifest. And then we also have the 2 of Cups, relationships, unity in emotions with others, harmony. Okay. Let me get my ducks in a row and let's see where this goes, pile number 3. So your current present energy, we just talked about learning to be adventurous was the first past energy, right? Present is, I think, a completely new story. I think you finally finished that arc of that hero's journey, so to speak, metaphorically. And now you're on to a new theme. So I would say we have betrayal, confusion. God, you know, you're just like the other piles today. There's been a really common theme with the piles today where their past energy was more like society, sort of, or like externally focused. And now, like, the present energy of all the piles today has been more inwardly focused. I don't know if that's kind of generally a common thing with past lives into present lives, but yeah, so pile number 3 is applying it to you. You've kind of shifted more into personal related matters here. I mean, of course, like we were saying before, you know, learning to be more adventurous is kind of a personal thing, but that's more of an interaction with the outside world. This is more of an internal interaction, right? So this is kind of with more personal relationships, especially here with the 2 of Cups, feeling betrayed in personal relationships. I kind of almost see a twofold message here too. Confusion, power and strength lie. You know, and power came up twice for you. You have your power card. And your metamorphosis is power and strength lie within our surrender to change. Okay. Theme number 1 here. Like I said, more internal focused. A lot about creativity. You probably are an artist in this life, pile number 3s, and or were in very, very recent lives and or will be in very soon lives, is how I would put that. Could be media such as art, you know, painting, drawing, could be writing, something in music in terms of creative expression just in any way, right? That type of thing. Could even be your career or something you do very passionately as a hobby. Like it says, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So there's one aspect there where your soul is learning how to express inner truths externally with artistic mediums. That's one theme I'm seeing here in the present for you pile threes. And not so much for society's sake, more so for your own sake, because like I said, this is more like an introspective cycle of themes I'm seeing here. But I also see a theme here too with your tarot cards, and that's with the Ten of Swords and the Two of Cups and the Ace of Swords reversed here at the bottom. So Ten of Swords is all about betrayal. Excuse me, I stuttered. Someone getting stabbed in the back. I mean, it's a knight on a field with swords at his back, right? He's been betrayed. Two of Cups is relationships. You might have had a lot of struggles with being betrayed in relationships in this life or in very recent lives, pile number threes. Maybe partners cheating, partners not being faithful, that type of thing. Just struggles with romantic relationships I'm seeing here. People stabbing you in the back is one lesson. And the general theme, though, like more in a micro view of it, is especially focused on the Ace of Swords reversed here. Because that's all about confusion or not knowing where to go, is how I would put it. Feeling like you're not sure how to think about things is how I would describe the Ace of Swords reversed in general. So not only being stabbed in the back with relationships, but being confused maybe about how relationships work in general. Not in a way of like saying that you're bad at relationships, but it's almost like you're expecting, like you go to relationships expecting like, well, this is just common sense for everybody, you know, being faithful, you know, adhering to the things that we agreed on when we started this relationship, etc. But the lesson is in terms of people that maybe are more confused about relationships and or they're not as common sense about it as you, or like they're not as in tune with because I think you're good at relationships, pile number threes. So part of this is almost teaching other people more common sense when it comes to relationships in terms of like communication, honesty, that type of thing, not stabbing each other or others in the back, right? Being honest in relationships. So you've kind of shifted more into a teacher role with that. Now, I didn't see much about romantic relationships with your past energy, but this could have been some sort of trajectory where it was like a micro theme and now it's more of a major theme in this present energy where you've become more of a teacher role with it. I do see that a lot in past life or like soul journey readings where, you know, past lives will talk about learning these things and then future lives or lives after those lives described will say or shift into teacher energy of teaching the other things that your soul has already learned is how I would kind of put that. So I think you're a teacher in romantic relationships, to summarize pile threes, in terms of honesty and communication in relationships and being faithful. So unfortunately, though, that means probably in this life you have had a lot of people stab you in the back because you're working or have worked with a lot of people, you know, before where you are now, where they didn't quite understand faithfulness and honesty maybe as much as you did. So unfortunately, a lot of the part of teaching is working with people that need to learn. So, but of course, you know, karma will help repay that back in the end, right? So on a soul level, even in waking life they might not understand it, on a soul level they're probably thankful that you have been a teacher for them, right? And then we also see the theme of power here, and then metamorphosis. Power and strength lie within our surrender to change. I think that's almost a continuation of what I was saying before. Like, you know, before I said it was something about you maybe were struggling with the themes of the past with learning to be more adventurous, and all of a sudden it was like you had this really chaotic life and it just clicked for you in the middle of that life. I think this is a continuation of that theme for you in your present energy, pile number threes, where you're very, very good in a crisis. You're very good in terms of when things are being chaotic. I think you're almost a teacher role for other people in this way too, because you have had lives like that chaotic life I was just describing where the being more adventurous just kind of clicked for you, right? And so you're teaching more to other people, or at least serving as an example to other people about being calm under stress and under chaos and having the power to kind of stand still and be strong during those stormy times, because, you know, the storm theme is kind of popping up here again with your power card like it did with the circles card earlier, right? and weathering through life and being adaptable here, especially too with surrender to change, right? That type of thing. So your present energy, I think you're working on kind of quite a few lessons, pile number threes. The other piles were a little bit more soul focused, more kind of pointed at one thing. You have been more learning multiple things. So I think your soul is like going like super extra university, taking like a bunch of different classes right now, so to speak, metaphorically. Yeah. But we'll see where it goes with your future energy here, pile threes. So I think definitely like from your past to your present energy, you have changed a lot in terms of what you're learning. A lot of shifting into from student into more teacher energy, that type of thing. Okay. And then let's shuffle your tarot cards here. I'll be quick about it. Well, and that too, you know, it just popped up in my head intuitively while I was shuffling your cards here, pile three, is that maybe one of the reasons why you're so stable with chaos and change too is because you did go on that soul, that arc, so to speak, of your own journey where being more adventurous did teach you to trust in things working out when things were chaotic, or maybe like your physical surroundings weren't always the same, especially if you were adventuring a lot. That type of thing. It just kind of came up intuitively. Anyways, future energy. So your near future lives here, and or maybe towards the within this life. Archetypes: Prince, light attribute, romantic charm, and potential for power. So we see power pop up again. Personal strength, shadow attribute, using power for self aggrandizement or aggrandizement. Sorry, I might have mispronounced that. All right, Lantern Oracle, we have number 20, enough. You were born enough. Personal power. Maybe a shift back into self-confidence here. Might be a return kind of to that theme before of learning to adventure out or be bold, but more, or a slightly different way. We also have enlightenment. We see journeying again here too with a ship. I think you're going to almost shift back into the energy of adventuring, pile number threes, but it's going to be slightly different this time, combined with what you've been learning in the present and most recent lives we talked about with, you know, being a teacher for others in relationships, that type of thing. Interesting. Okay. And let's get your tarot cards on the desk here. Spirit for pile threes. Can I get 3 to 4 cards regarding their near future of their soul's journey? Oh, well, okay, there's that one. 6 of Cups, reversed. Focus on the future. Okay. Yep. That's what I was saying before. I think you're shifting back into the energy, but in a slightly different way. Like in the very beginning of this reading, we talked about your learning to venture out and go into the unknown, and then it's like you almost kind of let that take a backseat for a second, and then you shifted into what we just talked about with your present energy. Now you're going back to being more adventurous and more future focused, being a trendsetter, right? But in a slightly different way. And then you got the King of Cups reversed, or I'm sorry, King of Wands. And then we have the 7 of Swords reversed. A little bit more with that honesty theme here. Because normally 7 of Swords upright is about being sneaky. Someone trying to get away with something, right? Okay, ducks in a row. Let's see what this is. So power comes up again. Pile number 3 is for your near future lives here. Could be, once again, a continuation of the theme of teaching other people in romance here with romantic charm and potential for power. Also, especially with the 7 of Swords here reversed, being that honesty card, because it is reversed. It's someone getting caught or not being sneaky. So I think you're still going to, in the near future, teach other people about honesty and in relationships, especially romantic ones. You're going to be that teacher. So that's going to be a near future energy here, pile threes. But then also 6 of Cups reversed here, not being caught up in the past, being forward, adventure focused again, enlightenment too. It could be the near future lives here about venturing out again, like I was saying. But maybe more so not for physical reasons in terms of, oh, I want to see the world. It could be more spiritual reasons, hence the enlightenment card about, I want to experience different spiritualities, or I want to grow my soul more in terms of experiencing things across the world with like religion or spirituality, that type of thing. So it's not so much travel focused, it's travel focused for the reason of spirituality, I guess is what I would say. Expanding spiritual horizons. King of Wands reversed. is, it could denote someone that is, I'm not saying this is you, but it could denote someone that's abusive, could denote someone that has issues with anger, that type of thing. So it could be specifically that this teaching in relationships about honesty is honing in on, in the near future lives of yours, that'll be partners that maybe do have anger issues and or abuse. It could be also helping other people that are victims of people like this King of Wands reversed. I could also see it as the King of Wands reversed being asking for more energy of external confidence. So that's kind of almost leaning into also that adventurous energy again of that return, or that rhyme, I would say, of your arc of being adventurous again, being more confident, especially here with your enough. You were born enough, self-confidence. So it could be that a little bit of the reason why you're not sliding, but returning to this theme is because it's there might have been a little bit of a backslide into not being as confident, pile number threes, and now it's like being more adventurous for the terms, or for the reason of not only spirituality, like I was saying, but being more confident here with the King of Wands reversed, and feeling like you're born enough here with enough, right? Could also be that you're helping other people feel like they're enough, especially if that is the trajectory of like helping people that are victims of negative King of Wands energy here with King of Wands reversed. Could also be something to do with childhood or working with children in your near future lives with the Six of Cups reversed. Helping people heal from trauma of King of Wands reversed energies of people that are angry or abusive, right? And helping them feel like they're enough. So once again, it's like you're almost expanding even more into a teaching or advising or helping role. Not so much experiencing it yourself, I don't think. It's more you're teaching other people, not just in romantic relationships, once again, like we talked about with your present energy, but the near future lives are going to be more about teaching other people about confidence and healing from childhood wounds, I guess I would say. So it's like your soul's journey has been first the lesson of you have the power to make yourself better in terms of yourself, and then eventually it's going to be you teaching other people that they have the power to make themselves better. That type of thing, personal power. I mean, that's kind of the theme for you, pile number threes, has been so far. It has been personal power, right? Of course, like a little bit of the romantic thing too, but yeah, learning your own personal power, not having it at first, learning how to get personal power or nurture it, right? And then helping other people nurture their own personal power. So a lot of these people in these near future lives, I think for you, pile number threes, are going to be people that are learning the same thing that you already learned in your past. That energy that we were talking about being more adventurous and confident and venturing out, right? That type of thing. So, yep. And a little bit of expansion of spirituality here too with enlightenment, right? But, once again, we see that boat. And what is a boat but a vessel for journey, right? So I think you've always kind of just been an explorer of some sort, pile threes. You've always been kind of adventurous, or at least have like yearned for adventure. Yeah, I think I call pile two my light bringers. You're my explorers, pile number threes. That type of feeling. Confidence, venturing out, helping others that way. All right, well, pile number threes, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.